Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Measure O Citizens Oversight Committee. December 4th, special meeting of the Measure O Citizens Oversight Committee. The committee is conducting this meeting from the City Council chamber. The meeting is being broadcast on TV and video streamed and can be viewed live or later on the city's website or on the city's YouTube channel. Will the commission secretary please call the roll?
Chair Brian Mulligan.
Here.
Vice Chair Bartlett.
Here.
Committee Member Fight is absent today. Committee Member Hildreth.
Here.
And Committee Member Smyers.
Here.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have the minutes. Commission members have had a chance to review the minutes. Are there any questions or comments?
No.
Will the commission secretary conduct a roll call vote for the minutes, please?
Chair Mulligan.
Approved?
Vice Chair Bartlett.
Approved.
Committee Member Hildreth.
Approve.
Committee Member Smyers.
Approved.
Thank you. This next part is about public communications. Under California law, public comments at special meetings are limited to the subjects on the agenda only. Therefore, any public comments will take place during the committee consideration of the item. Next, we will consider the item. Will you lead us in a discussion of the items, please?
Yes, good afternoon. Chair Mulligan, Vice Chair Bartlett, and members of the committee. I'm Kirsten Lacassie, Administrative Services Director, and I'll be doing the presentation for you today. We also have Rindy Azevedo, who's here. She's our new Budget and Procurement Manager, so she will be a part of these meetings going forward. Additionally, we have Grace Zhang, who is a partner at Mays & Associates. She's available on Zoom if needed to answer any questions specific to the audit. So I will go ahead and get started. And I will walk you through the fiscal year 24 year-end audit and the revenue and expenditure results. So this afternoon, I'm going to cover our revenue and expenditure results for fiscal year 24, as I mentioned, the ending fund balance, the audit results, and the requested action of the committee. So as you recall, Council authorized the use of $1.66 million of the fund balance accumulated in fiscal 23 to offset the cost of two capital projects. Based on the fiscal year 24 results, no use of fund balance was needed. Measure O revenues came in higher than anticipated by approximately $420,000, a portion of which is attributed to interest earnings. Expenditures came in just under budget at about $860,000, and we will cover in more detail what that is attributed to and further into the presentation. The capital project funding is transferred from various funding sources into the capital fund, and in this case, the $2 million has been transferred for those capital projects. Additionally, $9 million has been set aside in reserve for the future costs of the Aquatic and Community Center project at Heather Farm. So based on these results, there is a contribution to fund balance of approximately $120,000. So as you know, transaction and use tax revenue is the primary revenue source for Measure O. For fiscal year 24, it came in higher than budgeted by about $260,000. Additionally, the fund earned interest of about $160,000 for a total revenue of just over $12.9 million. Next, I will touch on the main drivers for the revenues. So we have a slight technical glitch. Matt, we can no longer see the presentation. Thank you. Okay, so in general, sales in the auto, transportation, fuel and service stations categories decreased when we compared to fiscal year 23. Those declines were partially offset by increases in business and industry, restaurants and hotels, and general consumer goods categories. And I just wanted to clarify, restaurant and hotels, that category, for the hotel portion of it, that consists of food and beverage sales within those hotels. That's why it's lumped in with restaurants. So although the sales tax growth slowed in fiscal year '24 compared to fiscal year '23, Measure O came in higher than anticipated by about $420,000, in part due to the interest earnings. So the fiscal year '24 total budgeted expenditures were $4.66 million, with actual expenditures of $3.8 million, which resulted in savings of about $860,000, which is in line with what we had projected at the third quarter when we were here back in April. These savings are primarily due to salaries related to the timing of filling new positions that were added to the fund, as well as some initiatives that carried over into fiscal year '25. So I will discuss each of these categories in more detail. So one-time funding for about $287,000 was approved in the fiscal year '24 budget for economic development and downtown support within the general government department. And this is to fund downtown events and initiatives for the Walnut Creek Downtown Association Strategic Plan, Oktoberfest, Walnut Creek on Ice, Big Belly Wraps, and holiday lighting and decorations. So of that budgeted amount, $130,000 was spent. So in our community development department, there's funding for the full-time core homeless outreach team, which the city works in partnership with Contra Costa County on. And the full cost of that core team is approximately $250,000 per year. The city received grant funds, which helps offset part of this cost. And so in fiscal year '24, we had a slight savings of about $10,000. So funding was budgeted for marketing, advertising, and public relations, costs to support expanding and attracting new audiences as part of the Leisure Center's strategic plan. Additionally, a program coordinator position was added to manage the technical requirements for artists, series and festivals, and providing support for additional Leisure Center programming. At fiscal year end, there was a small amount of expenditure savings of approximately $10,000 due to the timing of when that position was filled. So for our library hours, Contra Costa County provides 40 base hours at both Walnut Creek and Ignacio Valley branches. So Measure O funds an additional 12 hours per week at each branch. The total annual cost is approximately $550,000. This amount was not shown as fully spent at year end. However, we did carry forward $130,000 of those dollars to pay for the remaining invoice of fiscal year '24. It was a delayed invoicing from the county, so it will be paid out of fiscal year '25. So in the public safety category, this category is cross-departmental, and it includes 5 officer positions added for downtown patrol. These positions were funded in the general fund in fiscal year '23 using one-time American Rescue Plan Act funds. So the costs are incurred in Measure O for these positions as officers perform specific duties related to Measure O. The majority of the savings in the public safety category is due to the timing of filling these positions in patrol, as well as the distribution of duties that can fluctuate based on staffing needs and other patrol vacancies. Additionally, one dispatch supervisor was added and was filled in September of 2023, while the crime prevention specialist is vacant and is anticipated to be filled in calendar year 2025. And then lastly, funding was allocated in Public Works for crossing guards at local schools, and this is managed by contract. The city has supported this safety program in the past, assisting with funding which was previously dependent on PTA funds, and so we're assisting with those costs. In this fiscal year, the total savings in this category was $540,000. So the fiscal year '24 budget added a sustainability analyst in Measure O. The position was filled in 2023 and is responsible for implementing recommendations from the Sustainability Action Plan that Council approved in 2023. In this category, there were salary savings of approximately $10,000, and again related to the timing of when the position was filled. The Measure O budget also includes funding for the two capital projects that I mentioned earlier. The first is the installation of ball field lighting at Tice Valley Park, and this project has been awarded, and so barring any weather delays, project construction is anticipated to take place in early 2025. For the turf fields at Heather Farm Park project, the city has received bids for this project. Staff will report out to council at the December 17th meeting. And assuming the project is awarded at that meeting, its anticipated construction is scheduled to start in April of 2025. So there has been progress moving forward on both of those projects. So this next slide shows the same expenditures we just talked about. It's just shown by department versus category, so you can get an idea of where.
I had a quick question. When you were talking about the police, the public safety, you said PTO, I think?
Oh, sorry, PTA, so the Parent Teacher Associations. of
Oh,
Schools.
PTA. Okay, thank you.
So the beginning fund balance in Measure O at the start of the fiscal year was $2.9 million. And this amount, again, as I mentioned earlier, was based on the initial transactions that took place in fiscal year '23 when the initiative was first implemented. So it's about 3 months' worth of revenue. And the City Council authorized the 1.16 use of that money to offset the portion of those capital projects. And as I mentioned, based on the year-end results, we did not need to use any of that fund balance. So the ending fund balance for Measure O was $2.67 million once we account for the amounts carried forward into fiscal year '25 and the reserve for the Aquatic and Community Center at Heather Farm. So although this committee doesn't take specific action related to budgetary decisions, we wanted to provide you with the information on the recommendations we'll be making to the Finance Committee and City Council on how to allocate the fiscal year '24 fund balance. So Walnut Creek Downtown has requested funding for downtown beautification and programming. In the fiscal year '24 budget, as I mentioned on an earlier slide, City Council allocated that one-time funding in Measure O for these initiatives. So this request, if approved, would allow those initiatives to continue into fiscal year '25. So with the downtown beautification, the current wraps on utility boxes would be replaced with new artwork, and there were about 17 of those. And it would also include the installation and removal costs of holiday decorations over 4 years. So that's a 4-year cost. For downtown programming, there are site improvements to Walnut Creek on Ice, which includes adding a new slide and some additional programming activities. Mini plaza improvements to increase the aesthetics and provide increased use for gatherings, and that would be potentially 4 mini plazas, and this would be in conjunction with property owners, that initiative. Grow Walnut Creek First Wednesday program would move from 2 events in 2024 to 4 events in 2025. And then it would also provide for event assistance for city event permit fees for both Oktoberfest and Walnut Creek on Ice. And additionally, we're recommending that the remaining fund balance be held in reserve for any potential future programming that council may direct. So included in the Measure O ballot language was a requirement that the city have an annual audit for Measure O. And so the certified public accounting firm Mays & Associates has performed a review of the fiscal year '24 Measure O activities to ensure that the transactions were allowable under the legislation as well as council direction. And so no exceptions were noted. So essentially, we were following what we were directed to do with the ballot language in addition to what council has directed. Additionally, the annual comprehensive financial report, which we refer to as the ACFR, is our annual financial audit of all the city funds, and so that did include Measure O. So what we've included in Attachment 3 is the audited financial statement for Measure O. So what we're asking of you today is to review the revenues and expenditures for fiscal year '24 and provide feedback as to whether those expenditures align with the adopted legislation and spending plan, review the independent annual audit findings and provide comments, and refer the report to City Council with a recommendation that the council accept the report. And that concludes the presentation, and again, we're here if you have any questions.
Thank you for that thoughtful review and explanation. I realize our our role is limited, but I think people probably do have some questions, and maybe we can get a little more depth on some of these things. Also, since we don't have a year-over-year comparison, really, it's new, maybe it just gives us time to better understand how the money's been spent, what the speed of it is, and those kinds of things, so. One of the questions I did have, I just looked through the report, and there was a few things that stood out to me. One, of course, related to the police part of it. And I think I know the answers to the questions, but can we get a little more explanation about the delay in some of the spending related to police? And also a discussion of not just whether that spending happened up to now, but also some statistics, if you have them, on crime rates and things like that, because that's when the legislation was originally proposed. I remember that was something people wanted to know about. So it's not just did the money get spent, but how are things going?
Okay, and I'll ask Chief Knox to come up and help out with those questions, please.
Good afternoon, Jamie Knox, Chief of Police. So to answer your first question, it does take time to hire a police officer. From application to actually getting them through background, medical, psych, and all of that is upwards of 6 months. And that is if they're a lateral officer, they still have to go through a training program. So what we did initially is as a stopgap, we deployed officers using overtime dollars to accomplish the mission to patrol downtown. And then currently we do have 5 officers, including 1 trainee, that are currently budgeted using those dollars. And as Kirsten Lacoste mentioned, we will be filling the crime prevention specialist soon. As far as crime rates go, our crime rates have steadily been declining over the last several years. I don't have any specific numbers for you, but it does appear that we're making a significant impact downtown.
Great news. Can you tell me what a crime prevention specialist does?
Yeah, so essentially this position would work closely with our multi-family locations throughout the city and our business community to develop crime-free programs. They would do site visits and provide guidance on how businesses could harden their targets to be less of a victim of crime, especially when it comes to retail theft and commercial crime. And they would also work closely as a liaison with the downtown business community, the Chamber of Commerce, and address any concerns that businesses had.
Thank you.
Yeah, just as long as you're here, you're the one category that's fallen behind the budget, and I presume that that's going to catch up here pretty quickly, or is that correct?
Yeah, we're technically, everything is funded except for the crime prevention specialist.
Okay. And the downtown patrols, is there some seasonality to that? I mean, are you more?
A little bit, yes. That's a great question. So we have developed a new downtown model going back really 3 years ago. We didn't have any permanent funding for it, and that's where Measure O funding came in. What we do seasonally right about now is we double the amount of downtown overtime and deployments that we have. What you'll see as of late is more foot patrols and bicycle patrols, I mean, weather permitting, of course. But we think that the higher visibility, the presence of policing downtown has made a significant impact on downtown crime.
Great, thank you.
Go ahead.
About the budgeted positions, the 5+1. So are they people with names?
Yeah. So we have 4 officers that are full-time hired, and we have 1 in the academy.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the chief? Thanks, Chief.
Okay,
That's great
thank you.
news. The crime rate's going down.
Yeah. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Well, I have a couple questions regarding the format of the reporting. Table 3, we're seeing a one-year snapshot. So one question, going forward, will we see a cumulative numbers. In other words, from the beginning of the inception of the Measure O program through the following years, will we see, as we go through, will we see some sort of a cumulative?
Yes, we can certainly provide that. as well.
Okay, great. And then the other thing, format-wise, would just be on that table, if it's possible to show like the percentage of the total budget for each of those categories.
Sure. so-
That might help us kind of get a feel for how we're, how the money's being spent.
Sure, we can add that.
Thank you.
On that note, there was a couple of clarification questions I had too, and I don't know if it's possible, but when I recall the proposed legislation, one of the things that was discussed was that since this was a sales tax, half-cent sales tax, that a lot of the, essentially the people who would be paying the tax would be visitors, the mall, car dealers and things like that. Is there any way to see whether in fact that's how it's happening? Whether, so somebody explained to me that actually an auto sale, the tax goes to the zip code of where that person lives. I don't know that for a fact, but is there any way to detect, whether in fact it's people that are coming to Walnut Creek to help support these revenues?
That would be difficult to do with the data that we have. However, we did do a study back before we went out with this measure to see kind of what percentage of our sales tax dollars come in from outside of the residents of the city. And I believe, and I can go back and look at that, but I believe it was around 60% of those revenues were coming in.
Okay, thanks. And also, you've given us your, where the positive surprises were auto, transportation, fuel, and service station. Oh, no, those are the negatives, and the positives were business and industry, restaurant, hotels. Is there a kind of pie that we could see too that says it was a percent from 30% from retail, 20% from auto sales? I don't know if it matters to anybody else, but it's more my curiosity
Yes.
to see where those revenues are coming from.
We can provide that in future reports to kind of give you a pie of all the different categories and what percent they make up of that sales tax.
I think it'd be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah,
And easier to read.
and easy to read. Pies have colors. Were there any comments? We did get a copy of the audit from the independent accountant, and I know we have somebody on the phone if there's any questions from anybody. Any questions?
Well, I mean, just to review, the audit looked pretty complete, and it basically gave the answer that the program, we're in compliance, or the Measure O program is in compliance with the legislation and the plan. That's a strong reference for us, and then in terms of how, where we go from here. Ultimately, we need to recommend to the city, or agree that that's in fact what we recommend to the city. I saw somewhere where it said that we have to provide something in writing to this council.
So that would actually be in the form of the staff report through the city manager to city council. So I will take the feedback from this meeting and I will provide that when we go forward to city council with the information. So basically, the comments that if you agree with the audit and the results of that audit, that would be incorporated into our report to council.
Okay, so we don't have to draft the report.
No.
Thank you.
It does seem to me like the original purpose of Measure O is being accomplished. I know we're in the early stages, but it seems like it's doing what people voted for. So, any other questions before we open it up for public comment or comments? It's now time for public comment. If you'd like to provide public comment, you don't need to create a public identification card. But address your comments to the committee, and you have 2 minutes. We will now close the public comment period. Are there any additional questions? As a part of the formal, do we need to say, or you're going to call for a roll call for them? Okay, we're going to call for a motion.
Motion.
Okay, sorry, first time through.
I had a quick question.
Any additional?
We received a letter in our packet from a member of the public with a number of different comments and questions. Does staff respond to that, or how do you deal with a letter like that?
So the committee, when we have public speakers here, we typically don't respond at the
Right.
time, but I don't know, procedurally, staff typically does not necessarily respond, but if that's the desire of this committee, then we can respond to those questions.
I'm not suggesting it's a desire, I just
Yeah.
wanted to know what the protocol was.
Typically, what we do is we provide that information to all of you, so everybody has that information.
Okay. Thank you.
In that vein, I would say that, just to recognize that we did receive the public comment. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? At this time, we are asking for a motion to approve the report.
So essentially, the motion would include the 3 items in this staff report, and so,
I think Susan has an idea.
okay,
I'm ready to go.
okay.
So I move that we have approved the report in terms of revenue and expenditures for FY '24. We also have reviewed the independent audit, annual audit findings, and we are recommending to the city council that they adopt the report and the findings.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Carries.
We'll do the roll call vote. Chair Mulligan,
Aye.
Vice Chair Bartlett,
Aye.
Committee Member Hildreth,
Aye.
and Committee Member Smyers.
Aye.
Thank you.
This concludes the business of the Measure O Oversight Committee, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.